Hi, everybody. My name is Jordan. I am your biggest cheerleader, and welcome to the Your Biggest Cheerleader podcast with me, Jordan. This is episode 4, and today we're going to talk about overcoming procrastination. I am the queen of procrastination. You can ask my husband, he will tell you. And today I just want to kind of talk about why we procrastinate, things we can do to kind of overcome that, especially when it really is digging into your day-to-day life and really making your life more difficult than it needs to be. It really just is a matter of planning and things of that nature. But we're going to get into all of it right here on the Your Biggest Cheerleader podcast. Let's get into it. Okay, so procrastination. Let's talk about examples for a second. So, laundry is the bane of my existence. Okay. I have never liked doing it. It's just not my favorite thing to do. And in adulthood, I really tried to come up with different ways that work for me to kind of tackle that. I'm still working on it. Sometimes they work for a little while and then all of a sudden I slip right back into that procrastination mode. Um, but for the longest time, I was trying to think about, okay, what is it about laundry that I just do not like? What is it? And it seemed at the time that the thing that I didn't like about it is that being cooped up in my bedroom folding laundry, what felt like hours and hours and hours on end. And which would sometimes be the truth, right? You got this giant pile, you've got to get through it. It's the most boring thing in the world. Um, so then I started to dive a little bit deeper. First of all, why is this pile so big? Does anyone resonate with this? Why is that pile so big? I surely didn't wear all of these clothes in the last couple of days, let alone the last week. My issue is that I let my laundry pile up and pile up and pile up until I literally have no socks or underwear left or anything else to wear for that matter, at least for that season. And in my head, that wasn't a problem because if I only do laundry, you know, once and get it all done in that time frame, then I have all this other free time and I'm not doing laundry every day of my life. So what happens is when I finally decide to do the laundry, I do load after load after load and I take basketful upon basketful and I plop it on top of my newly made bed. But I don't do it every time a basket is done. I wait till it all piles up on top of the bed because I only want to fold once. I don't want to spend my whole day folding. So I just keep plopping and plopping and plopping. And then what ends up happening is by the end of the day, I go in there, I look at that pile, and I go into complete overwhelmed mode. And I'm like, how the heck am I going to dig my way out of here before I have to go to bed? And instead, I go over there, I mess with it for a little bit, and then I'm like, yeah, forget this, I'm out. And then I walk out of the room and go find something more fun to do. And then it's time to go to bed. I'm exhausted. And I go into my room, and there's that giant mountain of laundry still sitting on my bed. Now, where's it going to go? On the floor. Just on the floor. I'll deal with it tomorrow. No big deal. A week goes by. The laundry has not left the floor, and I have a husband who is angrily trying to tiptoe around my crap because I refuse to pick it up. So you would think, oh, well, the simple solution is, hey, Jordan, don't let your stuff pile up that much. Hey, maybe do a couple loads a week. And yes, that makes perfect sense now that I've gone through this whole journey of why do I feel so overwhelmed around laundry? And it's because I wait too long. And I think another thing that I really get stuck on when I am procrastinating is, I try to compare myself to others who don't have this problem. And again, it sends me into a spiral of why can't you be better? Why can't you just be like this person, this, that, the other? For example, my husband every day without fail comes straight home, and the first thing he does is any chores that he can see that he needs to get done, whether there's a dish or two in the sink, or maybe sweeping the floor, picking up after the cats, doing the cat litter box, refilling the food bowl, fixing the water fountain that the cats use, all these things. He does them every single day. And for the longest time, I used to get so frustrated because I don't, that's just not how my brain is wired. When I would get home from work, I would just want to, like, it's been a long day. I want to plop on the couch and just veg for a minute. But his mindset is get home, get it done, then you don't have to worry about it. And I admire that so much. And I really hope I get there at some point. And these are the steps I'm going to take that should get me there, which I'm really excited about. Um, but yeah, that is his mindset. So for the longest time, he would come home and do that, and I would get so triggered by it, and I would actually get angry with him about it because to me, it felt like he was trying to rub it in my face that, hey, this stuff needs to be done. Why aren't you doing it? Did he ever once say those words to me? Absolutely not. Not even once. So then he'd be in there cleaning and doing all these things, and I'm just sitting on the couch stewing instead of relaxing, which is what I wanted to do. And instead, I get up and freak out, like, oh, you're just doing all this stuff, and now I have to get up and do it too. And he's like, I didn't say that. And I'm like, well, you implied it because you're in here bashing dishes around. And he's like, not bashing dishes around, just cleaning up so I don't have to worry about it later. And then I would storm off and get all upset for no reason. And I know it sounds crazy, but the good thing is that I've acknowledged it over and over, and it's gotten a lot better. I think Kyla would agree. um, but it's just crazy how your mind can play tricks on you and make you feel less than, just because it's just wired differently. The thing about overcoming procrastination is that we have to do a couple things first before we kind of get into our plan on how we're going to attack these tasks that we tend to procrastinate. So, the first thing that I want you to do is really think about how you feel in the moment when you know you're procrastinating or when you realize you have procrastinated. I will give you an example. When I procrastinate my laundry, every time I go into my bedroom, I get anxious. I feel stressed. I feel guilty because my husband has been tiptoeing around my laundry and doing his best to keep his mouth shut and give me the time to deal with it on my own terms because that is definitely a trigger point for us. And it's something that I am committing to fixing this year because it's not his fault that I have to deal with this, but it is my responsibility to address it and overcome it so that it's not a problem anymore and we can kind of move on because it really is a silly thing to be fighting about all the time, at least in my opinion. So, yeah, like I said, when I procrastinate, I feel anxious, stressed, and guilty. I don't know, no one likes to feel like that. I don't. It's awful actually, and it often leads to, just more self-doubt and self-limiting beliefs and just overall just gross. Like I want to crawl out of my skin thinking about it. It's not fun. So, reminding yourself when you know it's time to do that task that you do not like to do, how it's going to make you feel if you don't is number one, hands down, the first thing that we need to do. So, if I don't do this, I'm going to feel this way. Okay, got it. Brain here, locked, loaded, let's go. The next thing we need to do is start thinking of ways to make these tasks not so boring or cumbersome. So, one way that you can do that is first of all, write a list of all things you have to do. This might seem overwhelming at first, but we're going to break each down and come up with a plan on how we're going to attack each one. So, for me, my husband goes out of town every once in a while for work. And I usually get excited about this because for some reason, when he's not around, I feel like I can get more done. But I also tend to wait until just a couple hours before he's to return for after being gone for the weekend. Again, procrastination. It's just stuck. We're going to move through that. 2024 is my year. And the reason I think after thinking about it, I think the reason that I do that is because, there's always those television shows and things that I like to watch that he doesn't, and I don't put him through that. Bachelor stuff, Jersey Shore. I am the biggest fan of. I watch it every day, all day. It's ridiculous. But Real Housewives, all that good stuff. So when he's gone, I like to take that opportunity to really catch up on some of those things and really just have some me time. I mean, I just want to relax and just do me, which I think is healthy. I think it's healthy to have to be somewhat independent from your partner, but also do things you like to do together, which we do. But there are times where there's things I like to do that just really aren't him, so I like to save those for when he's got other things going on. So one thing that has worked for me that I just need to keep doing is I set up little breaks throughout my day. So, for example, if I'm up at 8 o'clock on a Saturday, I will get up and I'll say, okay, Jordan, from 8 to 9, coffee, TikTok, whatever you want to do for that time frame. And then at 9 o'clock, it's time to start your laundry. Okay, got it, brain. Let's do it. So I do that. I ease into my morning. I have my coffee. I flip through TikTok, maybe answer some emails, whatever I've got going on. I do that. 9 o'clock rolls around. I have an alarm set on my phone. That way, it's like a trigger in your brain. When this alarm goes off, it means you stand up and you walk into that bedroom and you go and take the laundry out. Okay, got it. Done. And then, next thing on the list, once the laundry is in there, all right, watch a 30-minute episode of whatever, if that's what I really want to do. So, step one to overcoming procrastination is reminding yourself how it feels to procrastinate. Number two, we're going to make a plan. And number three, we're going to celebrate and reward ourselves for getting it done. Now, we've talked about step 1 and 2. Now we're going to get into step 3, the fun part, the best part, reward time. How are you going to reward yourself for getting those mundane tasks done? Well, for me, it could be maybe I'm going to do a self-care night where I do a face mask and do like the foot masks and all the things and watch my favorite girly rom-com and just enjoy and just relax. Maybe I have had my eye on the viral jumpsuit on TikTok and I'm going to finally splurge and buy it. Um, it could be a multitude of things. Think of something that motivates you. What is the most motivational thing to you to get something done? But here's the thing, you have to hold yourself to it. I have definitely fallen victim to that, setting up rewards for myself and then not hitting my goal and being like, well, I still want it anyway. I'm going to go buy the jumpsuit or I'm going to go buy whatever I said I was going to buy myself. But again, this kind of go back to number one. How is it going to make you feel if you procrastinate? So the cycle kind of starts all over again, right? So you need to hold yourself to it. No one else can get you out of that mode. No one else is showing up to make sure you get your things done. It has to come from you. And this is with anything. So think of that one thing that is really going to push you to get started. And guess what? The more you do this, the easier these mundane tasks are going to get, and they're not going to feel like that anymore because if you were consistent with anything, it gets easier and you can do it. My name's Jordan. I am your biggest cheerleader. Thank you for being here. I will see you next week on the Your Biggest Cheerleader podcast. See ya.